Witam bardzo serdecznie w kolejnej części Zagrajmy w Katy Rain, a skończyliśmy na tym, że przyjechaliśmy do kloniki społecznej Conwell Springs. Co my tu mamy? Kosz.
Yep, it's full of trash.
Pełen śmieci.
Figure that.
Kto by pomyślał? No popatrz. Wyjście, bezdomny, wejście. No i czasopisma.
No thanks. I have better things to do.
Piętro, krzesła.
Uncomfortable hard plastic. A
Kalendarz.
calendar from 1991. Guess they really liked that year.
Popielniczka, roślina.
Was expecting plastic, but this looks like a real plant.
Akta.
Rows and columns of files. Probably easier to use the computer if I need to do some digging.
Piętro.
No point. I wouldn't even know what room to go to. Rows and columns of files.
No to pielęgniarka. Chodźmy do pielęgniarki, może nam coś powie.
Excuse me, nurse? Hey, nurse!
Yeah?
Nie płacą pani zbyt wiele? Co? Proszę spróbować się nie przemęczać. Ktoś tu nie lubi swojej pracy.
Somebody around here hates their job.
No shit. What do you want?
I'm here to see Charles Wade.
Never heard of him. Anything else?
Bullshit. I know he's here. Listen, it's okay. I'm a friend of the family.
No, you're not, and I said he's not here. Don't make me call security.
O ty.
I need to get rid of her somehow.
Muszę się jakoś pozbyć. Dobra, tylko jak? Bezdomny. A to nie jest ten bezdomny, co był w więzieniu?
We meet again, Mr. Homeless Guy.
Homeless? That's the worst thing I ever heard of, and totally untrue.
So, what's up with the trash can? Digging for treasure?
Well, I'm just going through a rough patch. By the way, you owe me $10.
Nah, you agreed to 7.
You're busting my balls here.
Better get those balls checked out in this clinic then.
So cold. Like a stake through the heart.
What do they call you anyway?
Goober. Everyone calls me Goober.
All right, I'm Kathy.
Guber.
Pleasure to meet you.
Zapytaj o jego historię.
So, what's your story anyway?
My story?
Yeah, don't all bums have a story?
For your information, this is all just a dry streak in my showbiz career.
Is that so? I don't recognize you at all.
I used to have more hair.
That I actually believe.
Come on, man. Frankie Gold is my stage name. Surely you must have heard of me.
Not really, no.
Oh, come on. I have starred in dozens of Hollywood movies. The Silence of the Lambert, Jacob's Bladder, The Usual Surprises, Natural Bald Killers.
Not ringing any bells.
Kids these days, no appreciation for quality cinema. Breaks my heart.
Skonsultuj notatki.
I need to ask you a few questions.
Sounds serious. Ask away.
Wypadek.
Do you know what happened to Joseph Rain in 81?
I most certainly do.
What? Tell me.
Are you sure you want to know? Not everyone can handle the truth.
Oh, just spit it out.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Abducted by aliens.
I should have known
Co
better.
żeś teraz wymyślił?
Oh, I saw it, man. A big, huge light. I was a bit drunk at the time, but I had my reasons. My wife had just left me, taken the dog, not to mention I was being conscripted for the war. But I'm telling you, those goddamn aliens took him and they experimented on him. And that's why he was so messed up when they put him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
Open your mind, man.
Do you know who Lily Myers was?
Yep, my dad was the one who found her floating in the lake.
Really? What can you tell me about her?
Ah, geez, not a lot. I mean, teenage girls, man, they're like their own species. Impossible to figure out. Not to mention how that entire family ain't, like, people-friendly.
Now that's an understatement. Nearly started brawling with Sue the first time I met her.
She could sure deal out a mean whooping, that lady.
Charles teraz.
Do you know who Charles Wade is?
Sure, he's been holed up in this clinic for the last couple of weeks.
You saw Charles Wade go in there?
Well, yeah, I just told you, man.
How did he look?
Okay, I guess. Still walking, at least.
No proszę.
Do you recognize the nickname Cocky?
Why, I used to call myself that back in Nam. Oh, how I miss that marvelous youthful ego of mine.
Ah, why do I even bother? What do you know about Lily Meyer's art?
Nothing but hearsay. People say it was pretty deranged.
What's your opinion on the Church of the Holy Trinity?
I'd say they're good people. Isaac the priest is, anyway. His dad, Father Bill, on the other hand, though, he and the people he had around him were into some weird shit.
What kind of weird shit?
I don't know, they were like a cult or something, with Billy Praise himself at the top. Really shifty bunch of folks. Isaac turned it all around when his dad kicked the bucket, made it a proper church.
Interesting. Do you know anyone else who was involved in the old church?
Not really. I tried to stay as far away from those people as possible. Ask Isaac about it. He's a friendly guy.
All right. I might do that.
Mężczyzna w czerwieni.
I don't need to ask him about that.
Nie, to wszystko?
Okay, that's enough serious questions for now.
Alrighty.
Kariera w showbiznesie.
So, tell me about this acting career of yours.
What about it?
Żywot barana, pęcherz jakubowy, podgrzewani, urodzeni łysielcy.
Tell me about The Silence of Lambert.
Lawrence Lambert, a real estate agent, suddenly turns mute overnight. For weeks, he tries to communicate with customers using a self-invented sign language, only to realize that true love needs no communication at all. He marries his housekeeper, who only knows 2 words in English, yes and clean. In the end, Lawrence dies of a heart attack in the arms of his lovely wife, Consuelo Lambert Vasquez. Based on a true story.
Pęcherz jakubowy.
I'm not sure I want to know what Jacob's Bladder is about, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Jacob's Bladder. The tragic story of Jacob Cobb, a schizophrenic man who forms an imaginary romantic relationship with his bladder. During long and joyful monologues on the can, he starts referring to his nether regions by the name of Jenny. Sadly, before Jacob has a chance to elope with his sweetheart, he gets committed to an asylum due to increasingly erratic behavior. After a big fight with his paramour, Jacob refuses to pee for a week, and he dies from a ruptured bladder.
Nie wiem, czy bym chciał zobaczyć ten film.
Give me the rundown on The
Podgrzewamy.
Usual Surprises.
A lighthearted comedy taking place during the surprise birthday party of 34-year-old Sid McBacon. The story is told from 8 different perspectives to keep the audience guessing who the protagonist actually is. The movie ends with the biggest surprise of them all. Sid suddenly dies of an epileptic seizure. I guess it's more of a dark comedy.
Okej. Pęcherz jakubowy, podgrzewani, urodzeni łysielcy.
Natural Bald Killers?
It's a dystopian vision of the future where people are valued by the quality of their hair. The protagonist, Eddie Zephyr, turns bald in high school. One day, he has simply had enough of all the teasing and the bullying, and he completely snaps and heads out on a scalping spree in search of the perfect head of hair. Eddie makes his way to Mexico for an illegal hair transplant. However, he has an adverse reaction to the anesthesia and he dies on the operating table.
To jest niemożliwe. Dlaczego na końcu zawsze
Why do
giniesz?
you always die at the end of your movies?
Typecasting.
Dobra.
Oh, never mind.
Not the cultured type. I understand.
Występ na żywo, no proszę.
So, how good an actor are you?
The best! The very best!
You know, that nurse in there, she said she loved you in all those movies. And that she always wished you'd give her a live performance.
I knew it. She always gave me these strange looks. I thought it was contempt, but her face must just be cramping up from shyness.
Yeah, that's definitely it. She'd love to see you act, I'm sure.
I'm gonna have to oblige. Which movie do you think she'd like the best?
Oj, nie wiem, który najlepszy film by był. Pęcherz Jakubowy.
Definitely Jacob's bladder.
I'm feeling the pressure.
Nie wiem, dlaczego go wybrałem.
Oh, Jenny, everything is forgiven. You and me were like peas and carrots.
Masakra.
I'm
I
just
don't
so
want to
full
interrupt the show.
love that I think I'm about to burst.
A computer. They likely keep records of their patients
I
on
don't
it.
feel so good. Thank you, thank you. You've been a great audience.
Thank you, thank you. Dobra. No i gdzieś poszedł?
That wasn't really an electrifying performance. I'll have to intervene somehow.
Guber.
Hey, doofus.
Oh, hi.
Hey, how about another show?
Sure. Any suggestions?
To może teraz podgrzewanie.
How about the usual surprises?
Business as usual. I can't believe you guys did all this for me. You know, what's that smell?
NZ 500 self-defense stun gun.
My head hurts. I'm seizing. Thank you. Thank
No,
you.
it's too late for that.
Great audience.
Już na to za późno. Ej. Muszę szybciej zareagować.
That wasn't really an...
Dobra, chodź tutaj. Kobieta, jeszcze jeden występ. Guber, dawaj.
Hey, doofus.
Oh, hi.
Występ na żywo.
Hey,
Sure.
Może teraz urodzenie
natural
miesięcy.
bald kill.
Bald move.
Dobra, dawaj to.
Fernando, you've been such a good friend. I can't.
Good idea, but it wouldn't match his
Nie pasuje
symptoms.
do objawów.
Turn this scalp into a
Aha,
breathtaking
dobra, to już
golden
wiem.
carpet, such as the world has never seen. Okay, doctor, I'm counting down now.
Chodź tu. Nie ma go.
Fernando, you've been such a good friend. I can't thank you.
I don't want to...
Nie chcę przerwać występu. Przerwij go.
Turn this scalp into a breathtaking golden carpet, such as the world has never
Good
seen.
idea, but it wouldn't match his
Okay,
symptoms.
doctor, I'm counting down now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Thank you, thank you. You've been a great audience.
No to super. Jeszcze raz, byśmy do 3 razy sztuka.
That wasn't real.
Jeszcze raz. Guber, dawaj. Ostatni
Hey,
występ.
doofus.
Oh, hi.
Występ na żywo.
Hey, how about...
Sure.
To byli podgrzewani chyba, tak?
How about the usual surprise?
Business. I can't believe you guys did all this for me. You know, what's that smell? Bacon? Oh, Bobby, my head hurts. I'm seizing.
Nurse! He's seizing!
Oh, shit!
Dobra,
Man, I feel like a total jack.
mamy chwilę dla siebie. Computer. Hasło użytkownika. Szybko, szybko, szybko. Dyskietka. Pyk, pyk. Dyskietka jest potrzebna, widzę. Wyciągnij hasło. Błąd użytkownika.
Looks like I have to figure out the username some other way.
Hasło otorgator. Jeszcze raz, muszę to zapisać. Gador. Ale skąd nazwa użytkownika? Tablica.
Employee of the month, Carlita
Carlita
Mendez.
Mendez.
What a joke. It's
Carlita Mendez. Dawaj, już wiem. Nazwa użytkownika. C. Mendez. Dobrze? Mendez, tak. Mendez. A hasło było... Gdzie jest ta karteczka? Oto. Orgator. Szukaj. Wait. Charles Wade.
Gotcha!
Pokój 6B. Stabilny. Skierowanie od Friedmana. Pacjent pomyślnie przeszedł inwazyjną operację serca i został przeniesiony do tej placówki na swoją prośbę. Wstępnie rokowania wyglądają pomyślnie. Pacjent najprawdopodobniej dojdzie do zdrowia w ciągu 6 do 8 tygodni. Ale mam jeszcze pomysł. A gdybyśmy zrobili taki knif? Włóż dyskietkę. 6B, tak? To było? Spróbujemy jej uszkodzić MBR.
Nah, I don't see any reason to break this.
Dobra, myślałem, że się da. Wychodzimy stąd. Jedziemy na piętro. 6B, szukamy 6B.
It's all right, Claude.
Understood, sir.
Tak jest, sir. Dobra, i co my tutaj mamy?
So, you managed to find me.
I did.
Well, let's get this over with then. How do you want your pictures? Shall I get some tubes to fill my face with? Will that suffice for your front page?
Co?
I'm no journalist. Well, not yet anyway.
Ah, she's but a cub. So, you're hoping for your big break. Surely this must be worth an internship at one of the big papers. Do you want me to call Thompson at the Times and get it over with? I still play golf with him every once in a while.
Nie o to chodzi, jestem w sprawach prywatnych. Zbyt wiele zakłada pan z góry, panie Wade. Nie potrzebuję polegać na cudzej łasce. Sama dam sobie radę.
That's not what this is about. It's personal.
Sounds serious. Perhaps I should ask Claude to produce his gun.
You know, Charles, the person most likely to be harmed by a gun tends to be its owner.
Very true. That's something the Japs who captured me learned the hard way.
Did my grandfather bail you out then too, or was that one of the few times where he didn't save your sorry ass?
Hold on there. Explain yourself.
You're willing to listen to something other than your own voice? I'm stunned. I'm Kathy Rain. Joseph was my grandfather.
Now I remember. You were at the funeral.
I was.
You were late.
I needed my morning smoke. Besides, it's not like Grandpa was going anywhere.
Oh, just look at her, Claude. She's absolutely fearless. That's Joseph's blood running through her veins.
She certainly has a smart mouth, sir.
I must say, you have me intrigued, Kathy. What can this old man help you with?
Jedziemy po kolei.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in 81?
I wish I did, Kathy. You must know I did everything in my power to help. How do you think Mary Elizabeth could afford all that expensive treatment? MRIs, neurologists, say what you will about Joseph. But he was never rich.
Strange. Grandma never mentioned that to me.
She's just too proud. At first she refused. She was convinced that I had an agenda, that there were strings attached.
And were there?
Don't be silly. Despite all that had happened, I still loved Joseph dearly. I wanted to help. People from places like this have a deeply rooted mistrust in the rich, passed on for generations. In her eyes, I had become one of them.
So that's all you know about the whole affair?
Are you implying that there's more to know? I left the diagnosis to the professionals. Mrs. Rain accepted the health care, but asked me to stay out of everything else. So I did.
I see. What can you tell me about your friendship with Grandpa?
Joseph was the best friend I ever had. We grew up together, married our high school sweethearts together, went to war together. I can't even begin to count the number of times he's saved my life. I repaid the favor once or twice, but he came up ahead, no doubt.
So when did you two lose touch? I heard that something happened between you and him. What was it?
The truth is, Brian Rain happened. Sharon Evans happened.
My parents?
Yes. They ruined everything with their vile, destructive behavior. I couldn't have that around my daughter or my newborn grandson. Joseph was naive. He believed that anyone could be helped, that anyone could be reasoned with, given a chance. He was just too good, bless him. He should have been harder on Brian, more strict.
Powiedz, że wiesz coś o trudnej miłości, powiedz, że to nie była wina dziadka.
I wouldn't mind teaching my old man some manners myself, wherever he is.
Yes, of course. You must understand this better than anyone. People like your father simply cannot grasp how far their bad influence spreads. So our family started drifting apart. Eventually my company grew much too large for this little town, and we moved on. Not long after that, your grandfather ended up in that wheelchair. That marked the end of our friendship, for obvious reasons.
You bought a number of paintings by Lily Myers. Why?
I'm known to dabble in art from time to time. Martha, my wife at the time, was enamored with the paintings. I believe she first saw them at the high school which the Myers girl attended. Anyway, after the poor girl killed herself, I bought the paintings speculatively. When a young artist with any talent to speak of commits suicide, it can be a wet dream of certain connoisseurs. Shortly after procuring the art, I had it valued by an expert who determined that the value was 3 times the amount I bought it for. Today, I'm sure I would have made my money back tenfold or more if it wasn't for the art theft.
What art theft?
There was a burglary at the mansion I used to own here in town. It was all over the local news at the time.
Well, shit.
Eloquently put.
Do you recognize the call sign Cocky?
Would be strange if I didn't, since I was the one who coined it. It belongs to a fellow named Jimmy Cochran. He was a coward, really. The nickname is somewhat of a bad joke.
Perfect. Thanks. Can you tell me about the art theft?
Well, somebody broke in, stole the paintings, and got out. Fairly clumsy job. Lots of broken windows. The strangest thing was that I had a Monet, a Rembrandt, and 2 paintings by Picasso, untouched. But every single painting by an unknown local artist, gone.
That can't be a coincidence.
Agreed. Somebody wanted those paintings badly.
I assume there was an investigation.
Yes, Sheriff Truman came by with his deputy a few hours later, but they didn't have much luck. They found a few hairs, which turned out to be from Ruffles, the family dog.
Some stunning police work right there.
Indeed. There was a single witness, though, who said he could make out multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime, but nothing more than that.
So, I take it the case was closed?
Yes. I honestly didn't care much one way or the other, given the fact that my most expensive pieces were safe and sound.
I think I'll have a chat with the sheriff about the matter, if that's okay with you.
Certainly. I'll call ahead and instruct him to give you everything you need.
That'd be great. Thanks, Charles.
Anytime. But I'm curious, what's your interest in the paintings?
I've learned that my grandfather went to Sue and asked to see them, right before he had his injury.
Is that so? Strange.
Tell me about Jimmy Cochran. Is he still alive?
In a literal sense. He's been held in a mental institution for years.
Let me guess. Since 81?
Either 82 or 83. I'm fairly certain it was early 83.
Do you remember the name of the institution?
Something starting with an E. Emerson, Everton, or similar.
Ingstrom? Ingstrom Psychiatric Hospital?
Yes, that's the one. You know the place, Kathy.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I've passed the building a few times in the city. So, do you know why Jimmy ended up in there?
Some obsessive-compulsive syndrome. He became fixated with circles and started hurting himself, trying to scratch the circles out of his head.
Creepy. I wonder what set him off. I think I'll check the place out tomorrow. Too late to head back to the city now. What can you tell me about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
They seem like any other church to me. But then again, I'm not their usual clientele. Weddings, baptisms, and funerals are just about what I can muster. And I always leave early.
I don't need to ask him about that.
Co tu jeszcze możemy pokazać? Możemy pokazać fragment, to nie... O,
What
zdjęcie?
do you see in this picture, Charles?
Fireflies would be my best guess. They can grow terribly large around these parts.
Dobrze, a teraz moneta?
I don't need to show him that.
Klucz?
Do you know what this key opens?
You must be truly desperate if you ask random people a question like that.
Zdjęcie?
Do you recognize this, Charles?
Of course. Your grandfather, me, Jimmy Cochran, taken shortly before we went to the war.
You guys look like you just won the lottery or something.
Indeed. We were mere children, with no concept of what we were getting into.
No to chyba to wszystko już będzie. I
Thanks,
wydaje-
Charles. That's all I need for now.
You're welcome, Kathy. Come back anytime.
Okej. Obraz.
Just some boring
Jakieś nudne krajobrazy.
Just some boring landscape paintings. That guy is huge. I wonder how many cows he eats per day.
Wydaje mi się, że zakończymy w tym miejscu ten odcinek. Pamiętajcie, żeby zostawić po sobie kciukasa, jakiś komentarz. Ja już dziękuję i do usłyszenia w następnej części. Bye.